On this episode,
Sally's talking about her headaches, and I'm talking about my earache. It's just like we're sitting here and I'm talking to you about some malady that I have. But they were just wonderful. I've never felt so happy with a group of people. It was, and those that will watch, it's funny, but it's also very, as you know, Randy, very touching.
Yeah.
From the coveted corner booth in a little bar at the center of the Coachella Valley universe, welcome to another Big Conversation with Patrick Evans and Randy Florence, presented by the McCallum Theater. Visit McCallumTheater.org or reach the box office at 760-340-2787. Gentlemen.
Well, thank you very much, Howard. Yes, this is Big Conversations Little Bar, and we are here in the treasured and coveted corner booth at Skip Paige's Little Bar. My name is Patrick Evans, and I am your host, along here with my co-host, good friend, and sidekick extraordinaire, Randy White Hair Florence.
White Hair Florence. Now I have a nickname. I like that a lot. So this, first of all, I want to make sure that we get out, because it's important to all of us, that thoughts and prayers for everybody in LA with what's been going on there recently. And a lot of those people are here in the desert right now. So just want to let them know we're thinking about them all.
The scope of that disaster, I don't think we fully understand it yet.
I saw a picture of the Chicago fire overlaid over a map of the Pacific Palisades fire. And the Chicago fire was minuscule.
It looked like a postage stamp compared to the Palisades fire. Yeah. We do need to acknowledge our presenting sponsor, the McCallum Theater. They're in full swing, and you need to get on board if you haven't got your tickets yet. And they keep adding shows. That's the nice thing about the McCallum. So you need to keep checking back, McCallumTheater.org, where you can buy your tickets, you can check out upcoming shows, and also check for those recently added shows, because the season continues to grow and get better and better. And we love the McCallum Theater.
Is Burton coming back?
Burton Cummings?
Yeah. Burton Cummings back?
At the after party, it didn't seem like he was.
Oh, you SOB.
He did ask about you.
No. Did Randy make it in the theater?
Yeah.
Good. No.
No, he was, or did my security work? And I said, yeah, no, it was fine. This is going to be so fun.
I can't wait.
Now, I got to meet Danielle Kennedy, our guest today. When did we meet?
We met, when I did Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, that's right.
Roller Granny. Roller Granny, that's me.
That's right. And you came on Eye in the Desert.
Yes.
And that was such I know a small role, but a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had... I did a little bit of roller skating, and but most of the fancy tricks were done by the LA roller gals. So, I had family and friends going, I didn't know you could do like a somersault on the roller skates. I go, it's like a Day Shift. I did that movie Day Shift with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Where I turn into a, what do they call it? Not a zombie, I can't think. Anyway, a monster. Yeah. And I had 5 stunt doubles because it looks like I'm going toe to toe with Jamie Foxx.
Right.
But he wasn't even going toe to toe with. I mean, we all had stunt doubles. It was kind of funny.
That's got to be pretty interesting when you watch people being you.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you ever give them instruction? No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't.
No, they just throw a wig on them and put the same clothes on I've got at the minute, and bingo. I said, oh boy, I'm more talented than I thought I was.
Well, I've been looking forward to this because you've just become an icon here in the desert with the theater and your acting.
Oh, I love the Bent, and I had so much fun doing It's Only a Play, Terrence McNally's play, and having that Stockard Channing role, and then the Desert Theater Award, and
Congratulations on that, by the way.
I was shocked. I mean, I was totally shocked. It was just an honor, and I just love Steve Rosenbaum and Terry Ray and my buddies Barbara Kerr and Jason and the whole gang. I can't wait. I'm going to do a stage reading with them, Children's Hour in February.
Oh,
very cool.
Hopefully, yes.
Well, Terry and Steve have done such a great job. They really filled an important niche here in the Valley
Yes.
And that theater they do such really interesting, kind of groundbreaking stuff. It's really a lot of fun.
They do, and they're just the sweetest, most lovely people to be around.
Well, Terry told some of the funniest stories that we've ever heard when we had him on the podcast. I've been in his acting class for almost a year.
Wow.
And there is not a name that you can mention where he doesn't go, oh, I have a story.
Oh, yes.
I have a story about that person.
I found that out when we were rehearsing. I mean, I'm talking about Carol Burnett and just you name it, Bette Midler. And I mean, he's got so many great stories.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear more of yours. And I want to clear something up publicly here.
Yes.
Irrespective of what IMDb says, you were not born in Palm Springs.
I was not. I am a Chi-Town girl. I was born in Chicago and proud of it. I was born on the west side of Chicago. And I still love Chicago, but I'm glad I got to leave there when I was 20 because those winters will kill you.
Well, today when I was doing my noon broadcast, we were talking about the big outbreak of cold weather, and it was minus 12 this morning in Chicago.
Believe me, I know. I mean, I would go to school as a toddler, and we walked to school, and you were just... It'd take you a half hour to take your snowsuit off and your leggings and all that and unwrap your face because the wind chill factor there. See how I'm talking weather stuff?
Yeah, that's
like
really
this.
good. I think there's a fill-in.
We're going to talk about lake effect snow next.
Well, I think it's amusing. I mean, what is it, 68 outside or something like that?
Yeah, almost.
Here in the desert.
66 at noon.
We're all wearing long sleeves, and
yeah.
You've got a vest on. I've got two shirts on. That 66 is just way too cold.
Yeah, I've got a thick sweater and a jacket. I mean, it's crazy. And all these people, they're flying in, the snowbirds from Canada and all that. You know, when I take my walk, they're looking at me, who is this weirdo?
I know, they're all in shorts, and they're like the Bermuda shirts, and they're like, oh, this is great. I want to jump right in this because you spent a lifetime doing stuff other than acting.
I did.
You acted in high school and college.
I did.
So you had the bug early.
Oh, well, actually, I mean, like, I was an only child, so I had an imaginary friend, and I was, doing plays with myself when I was like 4. I always loved acting. And my mother, her family was from Italy, and they were all performers. My grandmother was an opera singer in Italy.
Wow.
Small time.
Where in Italy?
Naples.
Oh, my family's from Naples.
I think we
discussed that.
Yeah, we discussed that. But and my mother played piano by ear. And, I'd come home from school and we'd sit at the piano. And I know you're a Sinatra guy. And, I grew up on Sinatra, Dean Martin, all those people. And my dad worked for Seaberg Jukebox Company. So we got sample records, like, before they even hit.
That's pretty cool.
The Billboard.
Yeah.
And dance was a big part of my life then. And I was a competitive figure skater in Chicago. Wow. I started taking ice skating lessons. My dad...
Just to get to school in the morning.
Yeah, just to get to school, exactly. But
they lived on the other side of the lake. So
okay. What are you going to do? But Dad bought me a pair of hockey skates, and I remember the first time he taught me how to skate, because he liked hockey. He took me to the Chicago Stadium, and I eventually went on and joined the Michael Kirby Ice Skating School. Michael Kirby was Sonia Henny's partner, and I skated competitively for many, many years till I was about 18.
Wow!
And of course that involved a lot of dance and
So you were getting your performance.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then, of course, in high school, I went to an all-girls high school, so sometimes I'd play a girl, sometimes I'd play a boy, because, we were all girls. So
that's like
somebody's got to play the guys.
That's like at the Bent.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I had the bug. But I think the biggest bug I had was I wanted a big family. I grew up in Chicago where all my friends had 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 brothers and sisters, the Shanahans and the O'Briens and this and that. And
nice Catholic folks. They had a lot of kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And dyed in the wool. And I would hang out at their house and, I didn't realize, wow, this isn't the Sound of Music here, dear. But, in my mind it was. And, fell in love and married my high school sweetheart. He was one of 8. And
high school sweethearts or one of 8 kids?
You had a lot of high school sweethearts.
Yes.
Yeah, I had 8 high school sweethearts, and they all had 8 brothers and sisters. No, but anyway, so dropped out of college after 2 years, and I was a speech and drama major. We got married, and he graduated from college that year. Got pregnant on my honeymoon, and like a good Catholic girl, 'cause I wanted 10 kids. No,
wow.
I mean that, and I said, here's my deal. I want to have a big family because I loved kids, and I just wanted that so much. I mean, as much as acting. And when they're all grown and they go off to college, then I'm going to pursue my acting again. Problem, I didn't realize that if you have 5 children in 7 years, somebody has to feed these people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so we were struggling young kids, and he was in a bank training program. And so by the time I was pregnant with the 5th child, I had to go to work because it was tough. I mean, it really was.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of mouths to feed.
A lot of mouths to feed. So,
and every night, almost all of them got fed.
Yeah. I don't know why. You know, you think they could have skipped a meal.
That's right.
But anyway, so
you were just telling one kid, you go to bed without supper.
That's right. You're in trouble.
We got to ration this stuff out. So anyway, I got into real estate when I was 6 months pregnant with my 5th child. And this was down in Orange County, South Orange County. I don't know if you remember what a tiny little spot Mission Viejo was.
Oh,
then.
yes.
There were like less than 1,500 people there. And I would door knock. Hi, I'm Danielle Kennedy. If you ever want to sell your home, I hope you'll remember me. And I was very pregnant, and I'd leave them a scratch pad. And all of a sudden, the thing started going off the charts.
Yeah, South Orange County all of a sudden started to grow.
Yes, and I was on that wave.
Well, everybody remembered you because they were like, that was the pregnant lady who came by. We should call her.
Yeah, and smart. You know.
And she's been pregnant for 2.5 years now. We don't know how that's working out.
Yeah. I remember one wise guy said to me after I had the 5th baby, well, are you going to get pregnant again so you can keep selling all these houses? You know. Yeah.
Well, you remember.
What a nice guy.
Back then, they were allowed to ask you that. You know.
Yeah, you can't ask that
they
now.
were.
Yes. Are you planning on having any more children?
I'm going to track that dude down. I'm going to tell you that.
That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
I know.
Now we just have to buy people Scrabble and give them a hint. Like, you should have a hobby.
Yeah.
A different one.
I thought about watching The Tonight Show later.
So you got successful in real estate.
But I still had that performance bug in me.
Did you find any of that you were able to incorporate into being a salesperson?
Yeah, I really did.
Yeah.
I really did. And the other thing that I loved about selling real estate is I could make my own hours at that time. There were very few women in the business at that time. I was like a social experiment. And, you know, they used to go on Caravan and all the cars would follow each other. It was all men and me. And another thing. Somebody said to me once on Caravan, why don't you go home and have your baby? It was like, oh, you're taking from our family. They didn't realize I had to work full time too. You know, I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
So the thing started snowballing, and I love to write, and I love to act. So I started writing like a journal, because that was the era of the J. Douglas Edwards, buy or get out of my car, would you, could you, you know, that kind of stuff. That's not how I sell. I'm all on need determination. You know, what are you looking for? What's really important to you? Do you want the kids to walk to school? I kind of brought more of a very compassionate mom kind of style to it.
And that's not the way it was done back then, typically.
No.
They were trying to... I had a gentleman at one time in the mid-'80s teaching us, and he said, every time somebody says yes, click your pen. And when they say no, don't click your pen. And eventually, you click your pen, and they go, yes.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that was going on, and I just wanted to barf. I mean, it was so ridiculous. So I started writing a journal, and then I said, I'm going to turn this into a book. So I did it. I wrote a book called How to List and Sell Real Estate. It sold over 2 million copies.
Wow.
It's still on eBay. It went out of print.
Well, you had a big family.
I had a big
So that's a lot of sales.
Yeah, that's a lot of sales. Oh, I was selling 100 houses a year for about 10 years.
That's crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, but you got to remember, they're $40,000, $50,000 houses. I mean, my first commission for a $25,000 house.
One-page real estate contracts.
Yeah, it wasn't. Oh, yeah, no way. I mean,
No disclosures at that point.
all this paperwork now. But anyway, I got the bug to start lecturing and teaching. One thing I knew, and I'm really glad I knew it, is that I loved acting, but something told me, don't pursue that till these kids are gone. Because I could work out of my house, and knowing what I know now, because I got in acting, when I was 55 or 60 years old, I am so glad I made that decision. Because there's a lot of rejection in sales. Yeah, there is. But acting and show business can be brutal. And to try to cope with that and a big family, the timing on this worked out great. And so many women over 60 and women who are 60, like my daughter, who has been a wonderful actress her whole life, they kind of go through a lull between about 45 and 60. And I say, hey, don't give up. Because really, there's a lot of parts for old bags like me. No, there really is.
Do you find that's? I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is.
Look at Jamie
everywhere
She's
right now.
Exploding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So have you found over the years that there have been a growing number of opportunities, or did some of that happen because you came here to the desert?
Oh no, I was pretty well established. What happened? Well, that's a whole nother story.
We got plenty of time.
Yeah, we got time.
We got time. Okay, so anyhow, I go and I for the next 20 years, I went through a divorce with 5 children, and I met the love of my life. He was a dad with 2. He was single.
He's sitting right here.
He's sitting right here, Mr. Craig.
He wanted to make sure you were talking about him. I saw the questioning look on his face.
And I had 5, and we got married. I got married in my mid-30s. I think I was 33 or 34, and you were 2 years older than me. So anyhow, we combined our families like the Brady Bunch, and then 5 years later, I had another baby. Wow! So I had my first baby at 20 and my 6th baby at age 40.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, and we really we had a wonderful time, because that was during the period of time where the kids were all growing up and they were with us, and Mike is a boat captain, and I loved boats, and my kids loved boats, and his kids loved boats, and we would go water skiing and doing all this stuff. And by that time, I had transitioned out of real estate and became a speaker. And motivational speaker. I was doing about 100 gigs a year.
Wow.
Yeah. I was on the road a lot because I only had one baby left. I had a baby, and I just took her with. I was nursing her. We took Kathleen with us, till she was 5. I didn't nurse her till she was 5, but anyway, get that clear. Anyhow,
let me cross that off.
Cross that one off. Don't ask me that question.
Tell me a little bit about the speaking career, because that sounds fascinating.
Oh yeah, it was pretty wild. So you got to have product. And so I had the book, How to List and Sell Real Estate, and we did back of the room sales, and Mike was totally in charge of all that, and he booked all the speaking engagements and things like that. And not only did we have books, but we made videotapes, CDs, listing property, selling property, negotiating, 20, 30 topics. And, I don't think this is so popular anymore, but we were in it at the right place at the right time, because during that era, from about 70 to early 2000, before the internet and digital and all that took over, you'd go to a seminar and they would just rush the tables in the back after and buy all your stuff. And
if you were having a bad year as a salesperson, the first thing you did was go hear a motivational speaker about your product.
Yes, absolutely. And it was great. We went to South Africa, we went to Australia, and then I kind of branched out. I did real estate, but I branched out to balancing family and career, general sales, and so I started doing big gigs for Arbonne.
Yeah, sure.
Pink Cadillac lady. Oh God, I can't remember. Oh,
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay, thank you. Boy, what's going on here? My brain's pretty good, but right now I'm like, woo.
You're still the sharpest person at the table, so go ahead.
No. But anyway, I started in insurance companies and all that, and we broadened.
Did you do a lot of corporate kind of stuff?
Corporate stuff, too.
Yeah.
You know, like they're Coal Bankers, big annual, you know, they would always have a celebrity, and then they would have like a top trainer would come in. I have a funny story. I think it's okay to tell. One year
we're not covered by the FCC here,
cool.
so you're good.
I did a big Coal Banker, and the celebrity that year was Bill Cosby.
Oh,
and
you did not have drinks with him, did you?
No. Are you kidding? Everybody loved this guy.
He was America's dad. I mean, the Cosby Show.
Oh, it was fantastic. But the president of Coal Banker said to me, "Now you're going on after Cosby, but."
After Cosby.
Oh, yeah, the celebrity always goes first.
Okay.
And then the top keynote for, how-tos. So I'm backstage, and we were given specific warnings. He will pull up in his limousine. He will go out on the stage. He does not want to speak to anyone. He will do his speech, and then he will be handed a check as he walks off and gets into his limousine and go. So I was like, I'm not talking to him, but I thought he was fabulous. At that time, but he was so serious and so businesslike. He got on that stage, and the people were dying. They were laughing so hard. He had really done his homework. He did this whole monologue about him and Camille, his wife, shopping for a house with realtors. I mean, it was cry yourself crazy funny.
He was a genius.
He was a genius.
Particularly early in his career. Things just came out of his mouth you just couldn't believe.
Yeah, it was wild. But anyway, so...
Then things went into your mouth that
you couldn't believe. It was a while before you realized
or you remembered.
Yeah, but I had so many great experiences. I don't know if you all remember Helen Gurley Brown. She was the editor of Cosmopolitan.
Yeah, sure.
She was my sponsor for Women Who Win. And we did a tour of all women in Australia, South Africa, and in these countries, believe me, it was not a woman's world. So me, a mom with kids, working full-time from the get-go, the guys weren't real happy over there that their wives are going to see this bad influence.
Yeah, they might stop cooking for them. So.
Exactly. And serving up everything, but we had a great run, and Mike did all the promotion and everything, and we had a lot of our kids working for us at that time too, shipping out. Had 4 or 5 kids in the shipping room, packaging up CDs and videos and all that. So anyway, about that time when our daughter was the baby was in about the 5th grade. We had been going a lot up to Sun Valley, Idaho, and loved Sun Valley, Idaho.
And so many people do.
Oh, yeah, it's just heaven. And all our kids, from the time they were little, they learned to ski up there, etc. And, people say, well, how could you afford all that? Well, because, honestly, the company did that well. At one point, we had 4 kids all at the same time in private colleges. So I am so grateful for that era, and I got to perform. I was, I wrote all my own stuff, and I trained, and, a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and et cetera, et cetera. But boy, that acting bug was always back there. So about the time she was in the 6th grade, we decided the other kids were out, and they were in college or whatever, and we kept going back to Sun Valley. And I said, God, I'd love to live there. And we could live anywhere because of our job. So Mike and I decided to build a log home. So we built a log home, and she moved up there with us, and then eventually my daughter...
And how old was she at the time?
Kathleen was 10.
Okay.
And so I had just started to think, ooh, I'm gonna try a little acting. And Laguna Playhouse, are y'all familiar with that?
I lived in Laguna for a while.
We did too. Yeah, we moved out of Laguna in Monarch Bay to Idaho, Sun Valley.
I did not live in Monarch Bay. I lived in somebody's guest house, but it was okay.
I'm stopped at the freeway, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
But anyway, it was just one of those things where we kept going up and loving it, and the people were great. So we built a log home, and we moved up there, and I said, well, because I had just I gotten a call back at Laguna Playhouse, and I don't know if I would have got it. It was for a funny Neil Simon play, Rumors. But it gave me, I thought, wow, I haven't been on an audition since I was in college, and I got a call back.
Callback, yeah, it's a big deal.
And it was with a really great guy, the artistic director at that time, who was pretty well known in the L.A. and Orange County scene. But then I said, you know what? I'd rather go to Idaho and have Kath up there. That's the youngest. And this business was kind of dwindling down. And
was it because you wanted to, or were things just kind of changing?
Things were changing.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing the digital thing, and they were back. I mean, I could see it coming.
Yeah.
It was like my instincts were saying, no. So we did, obviously, some of it still kept going the first couple of years. But this is an interesting thing, because when I got up there, first thing I said, well, I guess my dream has to wait for a while. So we get there, and we open the Idaho Mountain Express, and it goes, Bruce Willis to star in A Fool for Love. And I go, what? He bought the Liberty Theater, this old movie theater in Haley, Idaho, and which is like right down the road from Sun Valley, Ketchum. And he bought the Mint there. He and Demi bought all this stuff. And his buddy, Denise, who has turned out to be one of my best friends in the world, that he went to college with when they were doing all that auditioning and everything in New York, she had started, and her husband, a very small theater company in Virginia. And he went back there when Demi was shooting G.I. Jane. And he went and saw their theater, and he convinced Denise and Rusty, her husband, bring the theater, bring your company to Idaho, and you guys can have my theater. He had just renovated this thing. It looked like a theater on Broadway.
Wow.
So I go, Mike, can you believe it? Bruce Willis is in a play, and he's got a theater company. So, of course, we immediately charged there and went, and it was fantastic. Theater was beautiful. Everything about the whole setup was great. So I wrote a fan letter. I wrote a fan letter to Denise and Bruce and Rusty and Keith, the 4 actors. And, I think I sent a little donation, because they were looking for donations. You know how we have the little envelopes at the theater. Well, I got a reply back. We're so glad that you loved our play, and isn't that fantastic, and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of let it go, and I thought, gee, I wonder what they're going to be doing. 3 months later, there's an audition notice for a fabulous play by Lee Blessing, Eleemosynary, about a grandmother, a daughter, and the daughter of the daughter. So they were my granddaughter and my daughter. So there's 3 ladies. Beautiful, beautiful play about my granddaughter being in the spelling bee, and a lot of wonderful monologues from the grandma. And I was late 50s by then. I tried out. And I got a call back. And my heart was beating like, you can't believe it. And I got cast. And the first night, because they always had, Willis and Demi always wanted to do a big, they'd have big opening night parties at the Mint. I walk outside the theater, and here's this tiny little, I thought she was a little girl. She's just tiny. I could pick her up. It was Demi and Bruce, and they said, you were fantastic. And I was like, what?
Wow.
And then I didn't realize it was her, and then I looked. And so that was the beginning of an absolutely great relationship. I ended up becoming president of their board for their theater company. I did over 20 productions. You can't take it with you, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
I had The Dead. My husband Mike got involved. He was in Seagull. He did some acting. My daughter Kathleen and we did Agnes of God. I mean, it was 10 years of pure joy.
Oh.
Then I had no SAG card. So Bruce has always wanted to do that Kurt Vonnegut movie, Breakfast of Champions, and he wanted to shoot it in twin. So he said, I want you in it. I don't know, you'll be a waitress, you'll have one line or something, whatever. Because he brought in Glenn Headley and Nick Nolte and all these big stars. And I said, well, I don't have a SAG card. He said, that's okay, we'll get you Taft-Hartley. So I got a Taft-Hartley, which means if a producer or a star wants you in their film, they will pay or do whatever they have to do. So then you're you can get cast. And you're a member of SAG. So then he wanted to do True West. So I got to play his mom in True West. Well, now I'm really getting the bug. And my daughter is about ready to go to college. And those Idaho winters are getting really cold. And I'm not skiing that much anymore, and he's not skiing that much anymore.
And you were out of the motivational
pretty
speaking?
Much doing a little bit,
Yeah.
maybe every couple months, a speech here, speech there. But we had kind of moved out of that, and I was actually, because I have a master's degree. I got my master's degree also at SC in my 50s before we moved up there. So I was doing some substitute teaching, to make money and things like that. And we were winding down, and I wasn't sad. It was like I was done. And all these guys are calling me up. What, are you crazy? Why don't you, go into coaching and then you can make trillions? And no, I'm done. I had a wonderful time. I feel like I passed along a lot of good information. A lot of people liked my style of selling, which was much more need determination than others. It was time to move on, and that acting bug, thanks to Bruce and Denise and all those guys, had really bit me. So we moved back to LA, and didn't have an agent, but I had a SAG card. And so I started doing a lot of theater in these really tiny theaters, and they got a ton of them.
Yeah,
and they're rough. They're rough. And I connected up with who really is considered like the poet laureate of plays in Los Angeles, Justin Tanner. I got hooked up with that group, and he started writing like roles for me, and that's where I met my tribe now. Miley Flanagan, I met Laurie Metcalf there because she was doing a lot of his plays. Mo Collins, all my buddies that I love dearly. It was just fantastic, and I started doing more and more plays. But I couldn't get on film and TV because I didn't have an agent and I had no credits. And if you make a demo reel and it's just something you film in your house or something like that, the casting won't even look at it.
Right.
So I'm doing...
Tell me about it.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough. So I'm doing this play in this really tiny theater in L.A. Who do you think is in the audience but Linda Lowy, the casting director for Grey's Anatomy. She comes up to me after the play and she says, come to Sunset Gower on Monday. I want you to read for a 3 episode role. And this was the episodes, it was called the super, it was like the most watched Grey's Anatomy. It's when Dr. Grey almost drowned in a ferry boat accident. And all that.
And my wife was a huge fan.
Yeah.
Oh, my two daughters binge watched it.
Oh well, they'll know. They'll know because I was the woman in the emergency room who I didn't know if my husband had drowned or not. And so, man, I got off that show. Somebody recommended me to Avalon Artists, and they've been my agents ever since.
That was a tough role, though, for her because she's a method actor, and she tried to drown Mike in the bathtub.
And he wasn't a method actor, so he didn't want to have any part to do with it.
I had to cry on demand. That was really weird.
So I'm fascinated by something. Most people try to find one good career in their lifetime.
That'd be boring to me.
And you came through 2 and then moved to something else. But you talked about instincts. Have you always been kind of led by how you felt inside?
I could never really. I'm too much of a freelancer, and I love my freedom. And also, I can't tell you how much I love acting. And a lot of that came from Mom. Mom would take me on Saturday afternoons, and it was musicals. It was Debbie Reynolds and, oh, God, all the Doris Day, Pillow Talk with Rock. I mean, I just thrived on it. But, and like I say, I'm really glad that I waited. And so then it's just been, people say, oh, you got all this work now. Well, it was 25 years. I mean, I've been doing this now.
You're an overnight sensation.
Yeah. And we decided when COVID hit, because we were moved back to LA, and I had racked up a lot of credits. I've got like 60 or 65 now. But I think I had maybe 20 when, or I don't know, 20 or 30. I'd done The Mentalist and CSI and Grey's Anatomy, and I was just building, doing all this good stuff. And small parts, I didn't care,
You just wanted to act.
Ugly, horrible, mean, happy. I love it because I love the idea of exploring all of humanity. And all of us have all of that stuff in us. The goodness, the madness, it's all there. And yeah, so that's how that went.
We're going to take a quick break to thank our presenting sponsor, the McCallum Theater. They make sure that we can do this every week, and we are very appreciative of the McCallum Theater, our presenting sponsor. Here's a quick word.
The McCallum Theater's 2024-2025 season is on sale now. The world's top artists, from jazz, pop, classical, and comedy to the best of Broadway, only at the Valley's favorite place for great entertainment. Tickets are on sale now at the McCallum Theater box office, by phone, or online at mccallumtheater.org. Tickets sell quickly, so order yours today. A new, exciting season only at the McCallum. The McCallum Theater's 2024-2025 season is on sale now.
Your entertainment, your theater, the McCallum Theater. And we're back. So...
Oh, but wait, I got to say, I'm going to the McCallum Theater. See Steve Terrell.
Oh, yes,
I'm
he's
so
terrific.
Excited. Yes.
We saw Steve Terrell at the Catalina Club in L.A.
Oh.
And it was really funny because we were driving down Hollywood Boulevard, and my wife had never seen him. And we're driving down Hollywood, and we get very close to the theater, and I see Steve just standing out on the street.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's the guy. And she's like, well, why is he standing by himself? I don't know. That's very strange. So we went in and we saw the great show. It was a great show. And then we go to say hi. And I said, by the way, that was you standing at... He goes, yeah, I went through the door. I thought it was my dressing room was outside, and it locked behind me, and I couldn't get back in.
That's awesome.
That's great. Oh, I'm very excited to do that because my Uncle Joe, my mother's brother, and I, we were big Steve Terrell fans. It's going to remind me of how much I love him and miss him.
I bet.
And
he puts on a great
such
show.
an unusual voice.
He's got a very interesting voice.
Oh, yeah, it's great. But anyway, that was cool.
So you were coming through Grey's Anatomy and all that.
Yeah.
You had
series
all
of
these
stuff.
credits.
Yeah.
Now, these great little roles and doing lots of different things.
Yes. Oh, I got to tell you, though, about the... did I ever tell you about the Ghostbusters audition?
No.
Oh, I didn't tell you that on
I think we might have touched
Yeah.
on it, but I don't think you really...
Well, it's kind of funny because they had a phony name on the script, which they often do because of non-disclosure and all that. And they don't want you to know what it's for and blah, blah, blah. And I was up in Sun Valley in the summer, just on a vacation with my kids. And Eileen O'Farrell, who has been my wonderful manager, along with my agent at Avalon for 20 years, she calls, and she's real funny. She goes, honey, you got an audition. And I know you can roller skate. You got to roller skate. So I said, okay, well, I'll try to find some roller skates because nobody had four-wheel roller skates. Everybody was roller blading.
Oh, yeah.
So I went around town because I knew everybody. I had lived there 10 years. And I said, has anybody got roller skates? And they said, no. Well, I was just getting ready because they have a beautiful outdoor rink in Sun Valley. I was just getting ready to go ice skating. Remember that day? And so I called her back. I go, honey, can I do this on ice? And she said, well, what the hell? Yeah, go tape it. So it was a diner, a roller diner, and outside, and I'm supposed to be on roller skates, and I got a tray, and I'm supposed to be passing out hamburgers. And so all the fabulous ice skaters that come up there and do the fancy shows, they were rehearsing, and they had just finished rehearsing on the ice, and it was now a general session. So I go up to some superstar ice skater, and I said, I know you're going to think this weird, but would you read with me on this script? And so I said, you got to stand on the side of the ice, and I'm going to start from the middle of the ice, and then I'll do a T-stop in front of you, and I'll give you your fake burger or whatever. And her lines were like, you knew the dirt farmer? And I go, yeah, everybody knew the dirt farmer. And I bet he had a lot of friends. And, of course, this line turned out to be, like, big with the Ghostbusters. I go, nope. That was like the big thing at the Comic-Cons, you know. Nope. They had T-shirts that said nope. Yeah, I said, geez, this is fantastic. So I send it in, and usually it takes a while, 2-3 days. Well, Eileen goes, honey, they love it. They're sending it over to producers. I said, well, what's it for? Because I didn't know. I don't know. Because the tag name was Rust City. And it was being filmed that summer in Edmonton, Canada. So I started Googling on IMDb, and I'm like, Rust City. And every time I would hit Rust City or Ghostbusters, Rust City would come up. I mean, every time I'd hit Rust City, some kind of Ghostbusters thing would come up. Looking at, then all of a sudden, I find out. They call me. It's Carrie Coon. It's Wolf and all those guys from Stranger Things. Blah blah blah. And I got cast, and I was up there for about 2 weeks. And guess who? Jason Reitman was
he was about as big in the business as anybody was at that point.
Yeah, he had a big Sundance film, but his dad, Ivan, was there.
Right.
And that was like a year before his dad passed away, about a year after. So I'm on set with Ivan Reitman, Jason Reitman. I'm serving the burger to Carrie Coon. I'm a big Tracy Letts fan, and I had done August Osage County up in theater up in Idaho. He wrote that. So we're sitting there, take after take. You're waiting. You're kind of jawboning with each other. And she says, yeah, we just had a baby. And my husband's back at the house here babysitting. And she's the star of this thing. And I go, oh, is your husband an actor? And she said, yeah, but he's also a writer. And so Jason Reitman, knew I had done August Osage because we had chatted somewhere. He goes, that's Tracy Letts' wife. Well, I freaked out. What? So then we went on to all that, and she started talking about other plays her husband did that were older roles that I should look at someday if I'm ever doing theater again, which I always do. So that was just a great experience. I had a lot of fun with that movie. It was a blast. But I think this past year has just been the killer diller.
Yeah.
It started out after the strike. We were out of work after the strike. Nothing was going on. January of last year, Dad get an audition. They start rolling in a little bit in February, and it's for what was called a classic spy, but which is now A Man on the Inside, with Ted Danson and Sally Struthers and all this and that. So they sent my audition tape in, and Mike Shearer is the writer, and I had been on Parks and Rec. Had a couple episodes there, so he knew me.
You were on some of the funniest shows on television.
Oh, I love The Reporter. I love doing that reporter. Yeah. When I'm kind of putting Amy Poehler on the spot because she's running against this guy, Barry Newport. Yes. And then in the crowd when I'm interviewing her, I say, yes, did you know that Nick Newport died, Barry's dad? And she, and she's like, do you want to make a statement about that? And she goes, I sad. And I go, is that your statement? I sad? And I kind of made it like, because one of the things I also did when I was in Idaho is I had a freelance job as a reporter for the Idaho Mountain Express. So when celebrities would come up for the film festivals and stuff, I would interview them and I'd write articles. And so I remembered how serious people in a small town take their papers, and I said, I am going to pretend, this is how I prepared, I am going to pretend that I am a reporter for the New York Times. And I brought that I did that on the audition, and they loved it. So when I auditioned for A Man on the Inside, Mike recognized me as, she was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and she was on, and he likes working with his people that he's worked with before. So the one I had sent in for, he said, no, have her read another one, because I got another idea for her. And so I got the part that the whole series is based on, the woman in the retirement home who loses her necklace. Not loses, she thinks it's stolen. By the way, if anybody, and I know...
Spoiler alert, Patrick.
Yeah, we're not telling you anymore, Patrick, and that's why I'm going to give you a little plug for me now. You have to watch A Man on the Inside, because for the first 2 weeks that it came out, it was #1 in the world. On Netflix, still airing. Anybody that's listening, I hope you do that. So that came up, and then, so I got 4 episodes. Not a lot of lines, but a whole lot of fun.
What was that set like?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, these are icons. Yes. Sally Struthers, Ted Danson.
Well, the set.
Danielle Kennedy.
Well, no, I was among. I was among royalty, and I knew it, but you wouldn't know it. They were so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about our grandkids, and Sally's talking about her headaches, and I'm talking about my earache. It's just like we're sitting here, and I'm talking to you about some malady that I have. But they were just wonderful. I've never felt so happy with a group of people. It was, and those that will watch, it's funny, but it's also very, as you know, Randy, very touching.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very poignant.
It's very poignant, and it was great.
4 episodes is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
To get that level of recurring character.
Yeah, that was a big deal. And then, just as I finished that, I got an audition for Matlock with Kathy Bates.
Right.
And that's coming on. That'll be on the first week of February, the first Thursday of February, because they took a hiatus at Christmas time.
Right.
And now they started up again. And I will be playing Edith in a retirement home. Only this time I'm not nasty. I'm kind of horny.
Okay.
And so I've kind of dated a lot of the guys.
Her next one is nasty and horny. Well, it's going to be.
It's better and better, doesn't it?
But I also run the garden club, and when Kathy is pretending she wants to be a resident, but she's really there to spy. And I'm supposed to be a Jewish lady with Annie O'Donnell and Beth Randell, who are wonderful actresses. So the first thing I say to Kathy is, "Do you speak Yiddish?" And it worked. I don't know.
She is amazing, as it seems like she is.
Just a love. And, of course, we found out, because half of me is Italian and the other half is Irish. My Irish side, both of our grandparents were born in Dublin. So we were talking Ireland, and, because we sat all day and shot that scene. And she's just a love. She has this cool thing, and she told the story on Jimmy Fallon. That Dune thing that he wrote about fear.
Oh, I saw that. That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
So she has her 3-ring binder script, and she'll have it under the table, because these people have to roll lines so fast, and they rewrite and all that. And she says every day when I shoot, it kind of really gets me, because I've always had fear. As we all have, but I think people don't realize how much fear you have right before you hit the bricks. But she had that all typed on the first page of her script.
Yeah.
And she would read it, and she said that would...
That's amazing.
Calm her down.
Yeah. Did you have anything like that for yourself?
No, but now I'm going to do that.
That's a great idea.
And so there's one...
I'm going to start doing it before the podcast, because I'm always afraid when I sit down.
You seem scared.
Do I?
Yeah. Gee, you two are shaking in your leaves.
Yeah, it seems...
So you've been on some really iconic sets.
Right.
Wonderful sets.
Yeah.
Any that weren't so wonderful?
People ask me that, and no.
It's all been a great experience.
As far as, I was in one play, and I'm not going to say it wasn't Idaho, where my tribe here in L.A., because we're like family, we had a bad experience with direction and that kind of stuff.
Name the director. Come on. No. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But I'm going to tell you, it was pretty murderous, but no, I have never felt anything but just joy. And then when Matlock gets done, what do you think comes in? An audition for a big, bold, beautiful journey, a big blockbuster that's coming out on Mother's Day with Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
And guess who spent all day with those two?
Oh, my gosh.
Now, there I will tell you, I was trembling. And I shouldn't have been, because they're two of the sweetest, nicest people. But I'm in this, fake lighthouse that they had made up on the Disney Ranch outside of Los Angeles, and it's just me, Colin, and Margot, and they're so gorgeous, and it was so scary, and I for some reason, and I just done Man on the Inside, but the nerves kicked in, and my mouth got real dry. Colin Farrell, he's going, wait, Danielle, I'll get you. He's running and getting me water. That's the kind of guy he is.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was a great experience.
That's incredible. So what's next?
I don't know. I just sent in yesterday an audition for a remake of The Burbs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not going to be a movie. It's going to be a pilot TV. But things are just starting to kick in, with the fires.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, there's so many people in our business that have been affected by those fires.
Well, your family was affected.
Yes. My son lost his house.
Yeah.
House that Michael and I spent a lot of time in, over 20 years babysitting the kids. And we were just there at Christmas. We were there for 10 days.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was so weird because we left the day after Christmas to come back out here. And when I walked out his front door, he had a beautiful home. The sky was just pink and all these gorgeous fire red colors. And he had trees all over. And I just took my camera and I took a picture right outside his house. And, that was the last time.
Oh.
But they're troopers.
Good.
Yeah.
Have they found a place to live? And
yeah, they have. A lot of the people there are going to Manhattan Beach, places like that right now for rentals. It's tough. I mean, everybody's fighting for,
Hey, even out here, they're coming from over there to out here, and it's getting tougher to find
we've had
places.
a lot of fire refugees come out this direction. Let's get back to acting, though. I'm curious. I mean, you just celebrated a big birthday. I won't say which one.
I did.
But you continue to audition and
oh yeah. Oh no.
You show no signs of slowing down. You just love doing the work.
If my
So you don't have another career on the horizon
no,
here.
this is it.
Okay.
This is the last career.
What did I hear? Some actor actually did like last week. They actually had a heart attack on stage and died. They were like 90.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'd love to go that way. Yeah, but no health problems. I'm trying to stay healthy.
But you want a full crowd.
I want a full crowd.
Yeah, it's got to be a full house.
I want a standing ovation. Do or die.
People will be like, wow, that was an incredibly realistic death scene.
Yeah. Exactly.
She's hanging on to it.
No, I want work. I mean, I love work. Thank God I got a good memory. I love any kind of part,
I want to ask you about one of my favorite characters, Narcos. You were Ambassador Noonan.
Yes.
Ambassador Noonan.
Can you talk about how that came about?
Oh, I'm glad. I can't believe I forgot
that was such a great show.
Oh, yeah.
Now, up until Narcos, I was just doing co-stars. There's a hierarchy in the business. There's co-stars, then there's guest stars, then there's recurring, and then there's series regular. Okay? So, I don't even think... Well, I had probably done some guest stars by then. It was 2015. I had just come back from Idaho, and I had done August Osage County at me and Bruce's theater, and I remember very well. We were living in the Palisades, and I was still running then. I was running in a Will Rogers Beach, and Eileen O'Farrell called, and she's always so peppy, and she said, "I don't know what this is, honey. It's going to be shot in Bogota, Colombia. I don't know much about it."
Well, I need some cocaine, so that's the place to go.
Would you be willing to go to Bogota, Colombia, if you get the gig for 6 months? I said, heck yes. I say yes constantly.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what is it? And she says, it's based on a book called Killing Pablo, about Pablo Escobar.
Right.
And they want you to read as the ambassador. And the reason why they're bringing a woman in is because Carmen Cuba, who is the casting director for this show, and it's going to go on Netflix, thinks there's too many men in the show. And even though, because it's based on a true story, even though that ambassador during that period of time in history was a man, they want to change it to a woman, but they're not sure. They're not sure. So this is, and I figured, nobody's going to see this. I'll be relaxed. Sure, I don't care. In other words, I didn't have that anxiety. Got to get it. That's the worst thing that can happen. I pretty much lost that. I got to have it, And I just didn't have it. And that taught me such a big lesson because I just went in there. I had on one of my speaking suits, my two-piece speaking suit.
So you look like an ambassador.
I look like an ambassador, and I was off book. I read the scene with one of her readers, and she looked at me very, very quiet, subtle, lovely woman, and she said, "That was nice. Do you want to do another take?" And I said, "Sure." And so I changed it up a little bit, a little meaner, a little stronger, and that was it. I didn't know what it was.
I remember watching that show and thinking, man, this ambassador's a tough cookie. She's a tough
good.
cookie.
If you thought I was soft, I'd been mad.
No, you were that
Yeah.
was
So anyway, I forgot about it. I totally forgot about it. I wasn't nervous when I went in. Didn't think about it anymore. I have a habit of every time I get an audition and I get the sides, as soon as I do the audition, I throw the sides in the wastebasket because you got to remove all attachment to it. 10 days later, I'm back at Will Rogers running. Honey, you got it. You're going to be a recurring. Or no, I forgot a step. 10 days later, I had to go and meet the executive producers, one of which was a big writer of a lot of the Law and Order, that kind of stuff, and the other guy was from Brazil. And so I met him at Sunset Gower. It was all men, and they said to me, have you ever been an ambassador? And I said, no. And then I thought, yes, I have. Because 1 year I was named Ambassador of Free Enterprise by the Oklahoma, I don't know, whatever it was. I can't remember what that was. But it was a big deal, and they flew me to Oklahoma. So I said, well, yeah, I guess I was kind of an ambassador. I got something at home that says ambassador. And they said, well, you really did well, but we want you to know we still have not decided if we're going to cast a woman. But we'll know in the next couple of weeks. And when I met them and I realized the breadth of what this show was going to be, but they didn't ask me to read again. They just wanted to chat with me. And basically, they probably wanted to see if they were bringing a pain in the you-know-what.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Columbia.
Are we picking up a problem?
Yeah, that might not be
Because
safe in
I'll tell
Colombia.
you, that's as important, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, how was it living in Bogota?
It was great. Bogota was great. The fashion, the espresso, and that's where
Food?
I became. Oh, the food.
I only travel for the food. So was it phenomenal?
Oh, I mean, the Italian food, the steaks, best ever. And guess who I'm in a hotel with for 6 months? Not in the same room, of course. Pedro Pascal.
Oh, wow.
Before he made his breakthrough. And Boyd Holbrook, who, by the way, if you haven't seen that Bob Dylan show.
Oh, it's amazing.
He plays Johnny Cash. And then, of course. But Pedro had just gotten his breakthrough when they beheaded him on Game of Thrones. And
That's right.
Yeah, it broke through yet. And
that was his last episode on that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, he had several others.
He had to screw his
Not
neck back.
speaking parts.
Just a floating hit, so they didn't have to pay him the whole per diem.
Oh my God! But they were all my scenes were with them at what looked like an ambassador embassy, but it was actually an old Catholic university right outside of Bogota. Yes. Hey, somebody up there liked me, and so all my work was with Pedro and Boyd, and they couldn't have been nicer. We had so much fun, and I met Boyd's mom and sister, and we'd go out. We became a family during the 6 months. And
Pedro's a superstar
Oh,
with
he's
The
a
Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
It's like the world's most interesting man.
Oh yeah, and he is fantastic because I had never done anything beyond like a guest star, and this was a recurring role. And I thought, can I keep up with what They just made me feel so at home. And I remember when we finished the last episode, I said, "Oh, because you never see anything," and I said, "Oh God, I don't know. I wonder what it looks like." And and he says, "You're going to be happy," because he was looking at the dailies. He gave me so much confidence.
Oh, that's great.
Just wonderful guys. So that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then I got bigger roles.
Were there any roles that you really wanted that you didn't get?
I don't think they've been offered to me. In other words, all the roles I've gotten are in the guest star, co-star, now recurring. Yes, there is. They're doing a movie about Neil Diamond. And it's not actually about Neil Diamond. It's about a Neil Diamond impersonator and his wife out of Wisconsin that became very, very popular with the local crowd. And Hugh Jackman is playing the Neil Diamond impersonator.
Oh, wow.
And Kate Hudson is playing his wife. And it's a tragic story. You can Google it. It's an incredible story, though, about this person who adored Neil Diamond. and they played all the, like nightclubs like this and things like that. And they sent me out for the role of Kate Hudson's mom, but I didn't get it. I'm sure a name will get it, but it's a very big role. But here's the deal. Now I'm getting asked to do bigger things. I wasn't even, asked before. I mean, so once you get a recurring and that happens, it's a hierarchy. And, they want to be sure that if you're a series regular, you've got a lot on your shoulders. You got it, like Ted Danson. He's the star of that show. He set the mood. Yeah. It's like, you're on a football team, and he's the coach as well as a football player.
Yeah, he's the coach and the quarterback.
Yeah, and he sets the tone, he sets everything, and that's a big deal, besides learning your lines and blah, blah, blah. So anyhow, I'm hoping that happens, and I'm ready. Please God, keep me healthy, because I want to work. I love it. I love my work.
Is there a role that you want to play before you're done?
I wanted to play Violet in August Osage County, and I got to play it twice. And I would. I got to think about what that would be. But there's so many talented young writers now. It's really amazing. And I was listening to that Martha Stewart documentary the other night, and how she really got her second start when she came out of prison from all these young people. And that's what Hollywood is.
Well, Snoop didn't hurt.
No, Snoop helped. That was when they were on that roast or whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
But she's the same with me. I'm around young people, and I love that. Like one of the writers of A Man on the Inside. She originally was my agent's assistant 12 years ago when she just came to Hollywood.
Oh my gosh.
And then suddenly she quit that job after she got on her feet a little bit and started freelance writing, and now she's writing all these TV shows. She actually wrote me when she got it, and she said, "Oh, my dream was to write a part for you."
Wow.
And she was like a pencil sharpener at the agent's office. I don't know if that's politically correct to say, but
it is now.
We've heard worse things on this podcast. Much worse. Well, this has been delightful, and I just love the fact, and we have you on Eye on the Desert every once in a while just to give us an update on the stuff you're doing, and it's always a lot of fun.
You're so sweet to do that.
So people can see A Man on the Inside. It's on Netflix.
Yes.
And what's
Skip
coming
the first episode because Danielle's not in it. Just go right to episode 2.
There's a picture of me in there.
There is. And what's coming up for you here
Matlock,
in the desert?
First Thursday of February.
Matlock.
Watch Matlock, Kathy Bates. It's a great episode.
And if you miss it, you can stream that on Paramount Plus.
Thank you. That is correct. And then Mother's Day, don't do anything with your mom. Go to the theater, or you could take your mom there, I guess, and see A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey with Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie, and I play the hostess that gives them a tour of a lighthouse in their journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
This is so fun.
It was really
That's a big
fun.
movie, so that's gonna get a lot of eyeballs.
It is.
So I suspect your phone will ring.
I hope.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
ready.
great. Love it. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Oh, thank you both for asking me. I just always enjoy being around and talking about our business with such kind, good people.
Well, Randy's going to just pluck every thought in your head about acting because, now he's got a part in the
That's great.
Palm Springs Women in Film and Television short.
That's fantastic.
I won't pluck you too much, I promise.
Anytime. There's a lot of things I don't want to talk about, but acting is not one of them.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Thank you for being here. This is really great.
Danielle Kennedy. Again, watch Man on the Inside on Netflix and A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey.
Yes.
Coming out in theaters on Mother's Day. And you should go back and stream Narcos because it was a really good show. And you played a badass.
Season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's tough. All right. This has been Big Conversation Little Bar. Our thanks to the McCallum Theater. Our thanks to Skip Paige and the whole team here at Little Bar. And our thanks to John McMullen, our producer, who does such a fabulous job And it's amazing that he can stay quiet for this long.
Yeah, because we know him.
We do.
That doesn't usually happen.
Randy, thank you for a great job. He's not just the sidekick, he's the research department. You always do beautiful work.
Research.
It's really impressive.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Remember that you can get this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of Big Conversations, Little Bar. I'm Patrick Evans. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Big Conversations, Little Bar. Recorded on location at Skip Paige's Little Bar in Palm Desert, California, the center of the Coachella Valley universe. And presented by the McCallum Theater. Online at McCallumTheater.org. This program is a production of the Mutual Broadcasting System. All episodes are available from BigConversationsLittleBar.com and most major podcast portals, including Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify.